Hello and welcome back to episode something. We're in the 20s now and I don't know what episode we're on because we haven't recorded in a while. But welcome back to the Knock It Long podcast. Please like, follow and subscribe us on that thing called YouTube, Instagram, and we still post on Spotify, so please do listen to our episodes there. In today's episode, we are going to, look at the Premier League table, where we are now. But for all three of our clubs, probably the most interesting focus is on European football. So we're going to look in quite a lot of depth in the Europa League and the Champions League, as all our teams were victorious last week. And we're going to look in for the run-ins for the remainder of the season. And we're going to name our manager of the season so far, even though there are a few games left, flop of the season, and our best player of the season as well, alongside maybe a few other awards, which we'll do towards the end of the episode. But anyway, first of all, I must welcome back a couple of people. Some of them clinging on to their job in this podcast. Similar to Ipswich not being relegated yet. Dr. Pemberton, welcome back to the podcast. How are you?
Still standing. Thank you, Tom. Good to be here. Fighting to the last.
Fighting to the last. Well, you are, actually. I mean, Spurs are. Ange is clinging on to the last few bits of hope, and maybe Ruben Amorim.
Well, I'm bringing up today now that this is a happy day because it's the day that Spurs officially can't get relegated. So we are still.
Congratulations.
And that's the same for Man United then, considering we're a point ahead of you. And yourself, Mr. Taylor, the Arsenal Premier League title race is over for another year. That means 21
Not mathematically.
Well, let's cut to the chase.
Not mathematically.
21 years without the Premier League title, 4 FA Cups in 20 years, but you still are the most deluded fan in North London, along with the few other fans that you have. How are you today?
I'm good. And the focus is on the elite competition, the Champions League. Always is the elite competition. Thank you.
And will you win the quadruple next year?
With a striker, yes.
There we go. Everyone clip that up. And if the podcast is still running next year, which we hope it will be, you can all laugh at him in April next year. But anyway,
I welcome it.
Welcome it, yes. You've made the same promise for the last 2 years. But anyway, we're going to move on into the Premier League action recently. We haven't posted since at least March, or maybe even February, and there's been quite a lot of football. Dr. Pemberton, what has gone on with Spurs in the last few weeks? I think you're below United still in 15th or 16th. Where do you think you'll finish, and what's happened under Ange since, let's say the end of February?
Yeah, where to start? I just had a look. I gotta say, I haven't had a look at the table for a while because, it's not a great look. We are literally 16th. There's just West Ham, and Wolves have now jumped up ahead of us after they went against Man United. I never thought I would honestly see Spurs in such a bad position in my lifetime. I can honestly say that, but I think it's been we've talked about it before. A combination of injuries. I think Ange. I don't think. I think he has slightly been found out. I think he's been too rigid. But even so, what can you say? We're in the semi-final of a European competition. And we're playing a side we should beat, aside from Norway, with a home capacity of less than 10,000. And if we make that final, and if we win that competition, we win the Champions League, have a major trophy under our belt. So it could be the most successful season for 20 years.
Ever.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I don't think the Europa League this season with the reformat should be taken seriously. Can I
elaborate on that?
Yes. No Champions League teams drop down. So the level of quality in that group of teams is nowhere near competitive enough. It's harder. I would say it's easier to win the Europa. Thank you. Thank you. I think it's harder to win. I think it's easier to win the Europa League than it would be to finish in the top 5. Bodo Glimt in the semi-final is a joke.
The Arsenal fan, how many times their side were in the competition?
In the Europa League?
Yes.
Many times.
And how many times you won that competition?
But it was before the reformat, so teams like Barcelona would drop down.
I mean, first of all, it was always
AC Milan.
that teams in the Champions League were rewarded for failure. And there was this. I can't actually think of another
It's a higher
competition that exists in any sport.
But let's
Where you
say,
enter another tournament.
but if
at,
the
late stage.
but if the reward is to be in the Champions League, then it needs to be as hard as possible. So those teams need to drop down. The Champions League is a harder competition. So
The Champions League is a harder competition. This is to qualify for the Champions League. It's not to win the Champions League.
yeah, but my point is, it's become so easy to win. Like, I think you're 16th and Man United are 14th. You're both in the semi-final. Bodo Glimt are in the semi-final. This is a joke.
In the quarter-final, they beat their good side.
Oh, wow.
Well organised.
Mr. Taylor, let me just say something to you actually quickly. I think what you raise is a fair point, but
Yeah.
actually, if you think of many of those teams that have dropped down from the Champions League into the Europa League, they haven't won the competition. Most of the teams that start the competition win the Europa League. So your teams like Sevilla and Villarreal, they won it by being in the competition the whole time. And your teams where you refer to, like Barcelona in 2022-23, when they lost to United, they dropped down from the Champions League that year. I think despite what you say, it made a much tougher last 32 or last 16 tie, potentially.
Yep.
But I don't think a lot of those teams get knocked out anyway, despite coming down from the Champions League. So I still think, given the number of games you have to play to win the Europa League, you potentially have to win 17 games to win the Europa League. All the same in the Champions League. It is still a very, very difficult competition to win. And we still, even in the Europa League, saw some good teams you would expect to be possibly even in the last 16 of the Champions League eliminated, or forced to go through qualifying rounds as well with that. So perhaps it's a little bit easier, but again,
It's
there's
easier.
extra games in there.
But let's just look at both of your routes to the final. Have you played a team that is
It's actually been quite difficult. They had in their first 3 games, FC 20, Fenerbahce and Porto, not easy games.
That's easy. Porto for one.
Sociedad are not an easy team. I mean,
That's an easy team.
You rave about Zubamendi. You know, they've got Elisabal as well. Lyon as well, are fourth in are fourth. I mean, if you look at Spurs' route, I'd agree with you. I think has been much.
Well, hold on. We play. Galatasaray. Galatasaray have caused difficulties for all both of your clubs, I think, in the past. And Frankfurt are doing well in the Bundesliga. So I would say those are...
They're doing well because they had Marmouche, who's now left. So, no, I disagree. I think...
I think if you look at how many... Okay, I would just ask, how many times has a Premier League team won the Europa League in the last 15 years? I can only think of Chelsea when they played you.
Yeah, but sometimes those teams are now in the top 4, so then they sort of take their foot off the pedal a bit on the Europa League. So sometimes that happens. I'm sorry, but I think it's harder to get into the top 5 of the Premier League than it is to win the Europa League. With the reformat. That's the statement.
I respectfully disagree. I think Spurs qualified to the top 5 for about 4 years in a row. But we still couldn't touch. We've had many attempts at the Europa League and haven't managed to get anywhere.
Well, I remember when we were I remember playing Atletico Madrid in the semi-final.
By the way, Arsenal never won the Europa League. So
yes.
No,
but this is what I'm saying. I'm saying before the changing of the format, it was harder because I remember us playing Atletico Madrid in the semi-finals with Griezmann, and then I think the season before AC Milan, in the court. I think AC Milan in the quarters, and Chelsea in the final. You're playing 16th versus 17th. It will be the final of the Europa League. 16th versus 17th of the Premier League.
I would like to ask the Arsenal fan now who they think will win this 2025 competition.
I think Bilbao were the favourites to win the Europa League.
The state of this competition.
I
would say if it came down to, I think it would be a Spurs v United. I would say I think United probably will do it because they've just got those clutch players more, like we saw against Lyon. I think there's something. They're quite good in finals as well, relatively recently. But what do you think there?
But
So
Anfield is unbeaten against United.
I would rather play United because we have played them 3 times this season and we've won every single one.
Oh, that's a good point, actually.
Same thing against City though last year in the FA Cup final.
Yeah.
City
I
beat
think
United.
you would be favourites. I'm saying that now. I think United would be strong favourites. That's
Well, I think you are now the tournament favourites to win the tournament because you've got Bodo Glint. By the way, who I think who have done very, very well to get here, but are not to be underestimated. And to people that don't know much about Bodo Glint, they're a very young club, and history is very young. They were created in the 21st century. They're managed by a chap who I don't know the name of, can't remember the name of, but he's been regularly linked with Premier League jobs previously. They play on an artificial pitch in Norway.
Have you seen a picture of their stadium?
I mean, it's smaller than Bournemouth, right? I mean, but they're a very well-run club, and they've caused a few scalps of these. I mean, beating Lazio is a major scalp. When you consider some of the players that Lazio have, including like Guendouzi, and the other players that they have. So,
yeah.
I do think we should have a quick comment. We'll go to the Champions League after this, and then we'll go into the league form, because I think this is important reflection on both of these teams, because United basically botched the league now and are just going all in on the Europa League.
Yeah,
I think it's been like that for both of our sides since
United's comeback against Lyon was legendary.
Yeah.
I mean, it generally, whatever footballing side, I wasn't out. I watched it at home, but I mean, I watched it in a pub actually with my wife and a friend of ours from school. But it was the.
I will honestly say, I don't want to be a party pooper, but I do think that winning goal was a foul.
I don't think that's. I think he doesn't push you. Niakate is weak.
Maguire, 2 hands on the back.
It doesn't have 2 hands on the back. It's a ball in there. It's 50-50 and it's one.
Was it reviewed?
I thought some of the refereeing in Arsenal Real Madrid in the second leg was bizarre.
No, that's the best referee in Europe.
Wait, we'll get on to that. We'll get
onto that. But he's the best referee in Europe. He was the Euro final referee. Fantastic referee.
I agree with the comments that there was a strange refereeing display.
Very, very fair display.
Well, I mean, let's quickly summarise the Europa League. So, United play Bilbao. The games are played from the 1st of May to the 8th of May. So we're coming right into the crunch of the European season.
Yeah.
United go away to Bilbao. I think Spurs play Bodo Glimt at home first on the 1st. I will be in Porto for the game, so I literally land in Porto and will be going straight to a Portuguese pub to watch the first leg of that game. And I'm going to the Dragão. We'll talk a little bit, actually. Mr. Taylor and I have made a few visits to some international states.
Part of our ongoing... If you're in a country with a stadium and a football team, you visit the stadium, you get a picture with the stadium. That's the thing. So, Joe and Seattle, you need to contribute as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. I will be going to the Lumen Field soon.
Very nice. Do you know the capacity of it?
It's big, because it's the same one they use for the NFL games.
Oh, right, fair enough. Yeah.
Is it?
American stadiums are.
They have big fireworks at the start as well, and an official guy who orchestrates the fans.
Cheerleading represents. Very lovely.
Sits on a stepladder and faces the main end.
Should we do our quick predictions for Bilbao United and then Spurs over Glint on that? Mr. Taylor, do you want to kick us off? So I don't want your individual game scores. I just want your aggregate predictions.
Well, okay, I'll just say, okay, that makes sense.
Spurs Bodo Glimt.
Okay, there's a bit of the magic of the cup about Bodo Glimt because they, I think it's going to be, I mean, it should be a walkover. Ange has to walk immediately if they basically concede. So I think it will be... I think it'll be 3-1 over 2 legs. I mean, even that is a joke. But 3-1 over 2 legs to Spurs and Man United Bilbao. I mean, Bilbao. I don't know what the score. Who Bilbao was? Who did they play today? Was it Madrid? Real Madrid.
I was watching the first half just now. They're still playing.
What was the what's the score?
0-0. They're very solid defensively, which actually makes me think they might do pretty well against United.
Okay.
I think you're vulnerable to counterattacks.
I think it's a must-win. I'll say 2-1 United.
On aggregate.
On aggregate, yes, yeah.
Well,
Low scoring tie, yeah.
I actually quickly apologise. Bodo Glimt was founded in 1916. I said they were founded this year. That's an incorrect data point. So I do apologise. Well, our Norwegian correspondent has just notified me. So to apologise for that. So what was your Bodo Glimt prediction? Sorry,
Bodo Glimt 3-1 over 2 legs to Spurs. Yeah, 2-1 low scoring versus Bilbao.
I've got a weird feeling that it's going to be quite different in this. I think this is the end of Ange. I think Bodo Glimt are going to knock Spurs out over 2 games.
Wow, huge.
Because I think they'll be very, very well drilled. It is their cup final. When United played them in the group stages as well, they're very clinical on the counter-attack, Bodo Glimt.
Oh, you played them in the group?
Did you? Yeah, what was the score?
3-2 in the group stage. It
3-2?
was Ruben Amram 3-2. It was very close. They went 2-1 up at Old Trafford. They're not bad. They literally had 3 or 4 attacks and scored from 2 of them.
Wow.
They're very dangerous on the counter. They've got a guy from I'm not going to pronounce Norwegian very well here, but they have a guy called Hauge, who used to play for Hager, who used to be part of AC Milan, who's one of their star players. And they've got a lot of good players, and they're very solid. And I do still think the Astro pitch, or the artificial pitch they play on, will make it a really interesting second leg.
There was a rule that you couldn't have artificial pitches.
Do you remember Spurs v Young Boys in the qualification?
I do remember that, because we got beat 3-0, I think.
Yes.
Or 4-0. No,
Yeah,
do you remember?
I think you won 3-2 on aggregate.
You lost 3-2 in there, and you won on
Maybe it was 2-0 away. But I just remember conceding twice in 10 minutes. And
Brilliant.
Peter Crouch losing it. And
so
I thought they were honestly not allowed, but I'm not sure I'm a fan of them, I have to say. I think they're quite different.
Don't blame the pitch.
Wow. I mean, okay.
Play the game.
I think it's going to be very... I'm going to go Bodo Glimt win 4-2 on aggregate in that game.
This is clipping that. Yeah, wow. Clipping this. We're going to clip this, yeah.
I just think Spurs have been awful this year.
Agreed. Absolutely dreadful.
I would agree with that, but honestly, did you watch our game against Frankfurt away? Frankfurt away is not an easy game.
I was watching the Lyon game.
And we deserved it. We defended for the first time this year.
Who are your centre-backs?
We have good players. We played Romero and Van de Ven, who I honestly believe any club would snap up.
Well, Romero, I think, will go to Atletico in the summer, and I think Van de Ven gets injured, pulls his hamstring.
The only issue with Van de Ven is he does get injured.
I mean,
but they're both going to treat it as a cup final. I mean, you talk about this is our season.
And I think just on United Bilbao, I think Bilbao will knock United out over the 2 legs. The reason I say that 2 games, we played Bilbao about 12 years ago under Fergie, or in the 2011-2012 season. They were bloody good.
Did they have Llorente?
They had Llorente. That's where United saw Herrera and ended up buying him. But they've got a really good. I think, as you said, Dr. Pemson, they're very solidly drilled. They defend well.
That's very interesting.
I think there is a worry that Nico Williams, who's their star player, and obviously was like one of the standout players of the Euros, might not be fit, or he's got a knock.
Yeah.
He didn't play this weekend. They're managed by a good manager as well in Ernesto Valverde. He's a guy who won titles with Barcelona. They're 4th in La Liga as well. So they were until recently pushing that title quite closely as well. They were only 6 points off at kind of in February. With that, they've got Inaki Williams as well, who's the brother of Nico Williams. They've got the 2 Williams basically on each side. I think this is United's toughest test in the Europa League, and I think it's. I think you're going to see something like 5-4 in aggregate here, and I'm not going to call it either way. I think Bilbao, but the final's also in Bilbao, right? So for these guys to play in their home stadium also. My view is United need to, if we can get out of Bilbao with a 0-0, 1-1, or a score draw there. And I've watched Onana, and Onana is like the tragedy of the Commons. He is he is a disaster at times. You know, he tries to take on Nemanja Matic, and I mean, generally, as I said after the Lyon first leg game, like Nemanja Matic was man of the match, and he didn't even touch a ball, didn't even come on the pitch for 1 minute, because he got in Onana's head, and Onana made 2 clangers, and I just don't think he's a very good goalkeeper within that. So I think Bilbao will knock us out, and then there's some very fair questions that should be raised to the United board and Ruben Amorim at the end of the season, because we're not there yet. If United win it's really vital United win this tournament, because financially we're in real trouble otherwise. And
the result today wasn't great.
Yeah, but today was, to be honest, actually I watched the game. It was pretty irrelevant. You had the back four was completely made up, and the team was completely made up. So, I mean, Christian Eriksen's legs are gone. We had Friedrichsen and Harry Hamas, who are literally 2 of our youth products playing, who've got like an average age of 18 between them. And then Lindelof is leaving in about a month, and then we had Mazraoui, who's very solid, and Dorgu, who's not a right back, playing left.
Did you guys notice on Thursday that like Rio Ferdinand, I think it was the other one, they were saying how ridiculous it was. It was like, this is before you scored your 3rd goal, I guess. You had Mainu and Maguire up front, and they were saying how outrageous it was he did that, like in a bad way. And it is kind of funny that they both did end up scoring.
I was seeing a Newcastle fan yesterday on Easter Saturday who basically said for the rest of the season I would put Harry Maguire up front. It's not a ludicrous suggestion, because
it is. I mean, it is a bit Steve. Do you remember when Steve McLaren put David James up front? It does remind me of that.
He's very physical, right? And Maguire's the best in the team. Hoyland is dreadful.
He's dreadful.
He's dreadful.
Wow.
He's dreadful.
Wow.
Hey, is that coming out from that's coming out from you?
Yeah.
What about the Rasmus, you know?
Rasmus. Yeah.
16 or 17 goals last year, but this year, 3 Premier League goals in the title is dreadful.
I think we had a bet at the beginning of the season who would score more, Jesus or Højlund. It's void.
I don't know what.
It's void because of the ACL Jesus got, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jesus has more Premier League goals.
Yeah, I mean, Rasmus also got injured at the start of the season for 2 months, so
yeah,
I think we will make that bet null and void, because it's been terrible on both their behalves.
Yeah, but at least Jesus has an excuse. Obviously not playing because of an injury, but Højlund, 80 million for
the one thing we're not going to do on this podcast is misrepresent statistics.
I'm not misrepresenting.
It was bought for 64 million, and you have
rising. But what were the add-ons?
It rose to 72 million. In
72 million for that is the worst signing in Premier League history. People say Nicolas Pepe was an awful signing, and that's completely
Nicolas Pepe, dreadful signing.
It was not a good signing, but actually, if you look at his G/A, he has higher goals and goal contributions per game than Antony. Certainly more than Højlund. So I think United it's so normalized for you guys to make an absolute overpaid flop, that actually we don't think of them as the worst signings in Premier League history. But they are all worse than Nicolas Pepe, and Nicolas Pepe is considered one of the worst signings ever. What?
I agree.
Anyway, Dr. Pembers, to wrap it up, and then we're going to move to the Champions League, and then do some like wider league perspectives.
Yeah.
What are your predictions for the semi-finals on aggregate?
I mean, just looking at player by player, Spurs have to win, surely. I mean, this is with all due respect to the Norwegian league, I mean, these are professional footballers being paid probably 10 times more. And it really matters for them. Trophies matter a lot, and I think if we do lose, then yeah, I think that would be the end of Ange, without a question.
If you lose in the final, is that the end of Ange?
Yeah, I think so. I'm actually not sure. I think if we win in the final, I don't know what's going to happen.
Would you at that stage personally? Would you continue with Ange next season?
The truth is, it would be head against heart. Well, I don't even know how much heart I would have. I probably want to still go.
Turnover as a club is 23 million euros.
Wow. What's your turnover?
I mean, Spurs must be 500 million.
I mean, they're different. It's different levels.
I mean, if you don't,
it would be embarrassing.
Yes.
I think I went to. We've done so badly though in the league. I don't see how Ange stayed.
Spurs' turnover in 24 was over £500 million. I mean, if you don't beat them, Ange must be sacked.
Yeah, I think, as I say, I think he will be sacked anyway. I really do. I think we saw last year. It's interesting because the parallel was Erik ten Hag last year, and I remember you saying that you wanted to keep him, and I thought as a more neutral fan that was just a bad move because the Premier League does tell you how well.
The league,
Yes.
the league.
This is why I'm saying the Europa League is a foul competition in this
You remember Di Matteo? He won the Champions League with Chelsea.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then he stayed.
The double.
He won the double.
Where did he end up going to China or something?
I don't know. He had the weirdest career. I absolutely hated him for that because he knocked us out. This was when he would knock out the fourth place team if the other side won the Champions League.
Oh wow! So he went Chelsea, he went to Schalke, then went to Villa, and then he's not managed since 2016. And he won the Champions League in 2012.
He did all he needed to do.
Yeah, he's done his business and he's gone.
Should we talk about the lesser competition then? The Wednesday night competition.
Bilbao though, what's your prediction?
What Spurs? Oh, United Bilbao.
Nico Williams.
I think Bilbao will win. I watched enough of Bilbao just in the last 45 minutes. I mean, they're well drilled, and I mean United.
They've got the
when you lost to
individuals
Wolves at home today. You do get through Lyon, and you're a bit like us. You will be pumped for it, but yeah, I'd rather United win because I think we as Spurs have a better chance against you than Bilbao. But
I've actually heard minus Unai Simon. I've not heard of any of the Bilbao players. Genuinely,
What?
I've heard very few of these. I've heard of very few of these Bilbao players.
Well, we're getting older, Tom, so I would say it's not days of I don't know. Llorente was Llorente at Bilbao?
Yeah, Llorente. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he was.
Extraordinary stuff. Right. We're going to take a quick pause and then we'll come back and look at the Champions League. Hello and welcome back to part 2 of the Knock It Long podcast. We did actually very little on the Premier League and are now going to do a bit more on the Champions League as that's where our teams all sit currently at the moment. And Mr. Taylor is about to probably have the happiest moment of his life in the next 15 minutes of this segment.
We don't need to talk about this B-rate competition, do we?
I think unfortunately it is an A-rate competition considering
Thank
both
you.
of our teams are trying to win the Europa League to get into that. Otherwise, we're both looking at seasons
Disastrous
outside
season. Bottom half
of
of
the
the
even
table.
the Europa Conference. Well, let's see. It could still, for both our teams, be a better season than Arsenal if they win either of our teams win a trophy. And Arsenal finish second, no trophy, 6 years without a trophy for Arteta.
Would you rather get to
Win.
the semi-finals of the Champions League or win the Europa League?
Win the Europa
Spurs
League.
are going to do both. Got to go to the final. See if you can do that. See if you can do that.
We'll do that.
Spurs are more recently in the final than Arsenal. So, our Spurs made the final in 2019. You made the final in 2006.
Yes, again.
So we could see a repeat of Barcelona-Arsenal again
Yeah.
in 19.
I'd like to see that.
I think
I'd
we
like to
will.
see, who would it be?
Let's look at the final.
Final
Let's have a
three.
look at the final. If we final 4, let's have a look at them.
Arsenal v PSG.
Let's reflect on Arsenal, Real Madrid first of all, and then PSG v Villa.
Okay.
Over the 2 legs. Pemberton, what were your thoughts on the Arsenal Madrid tie?
Okay, I did actually. I watched the second leg, all of the second leg. I didn't watch the first leg.
Yes.
I hear some free kicks were scored, set piece FC, but I mean,
Unbelievable.
what can you say? What can you say? I did watch the second leg, and they did deserve to win. From what I saw, they
Brilliant
looked very
game
much
plan.
in control.
Yes.
I was impressed. I mean, they're just very well drilled. They kind of remind me of Atletico Madrid, or I don't know. But they look up for it, and there's a lot of chemistry.
But we also have a
Believe-
difference maker in Rice.
They wouldn't be a fun team to play against. They're not a fun team to play against.
No, because we've beaten you for the last 4 seasons.
All I would, yes, okay, I'm applauding your team here. Like, you can stop drinking the water. And now you have Saka has come back at a good time in the season. I will also add that.
Although did you see him today against Ipswich? He was absolutely destroying.
I didn't. I'm not interested in this. I'm not interested.
Well, the guy took a ridiculous challenge on his Achilles, was sent off, but he was substituted off with the ice pack.
I thought on this actually, I thought Alaba was lucky to stay on.
Oh God, yeah.
I thought Real Madrid in the tie looked very disjointed. I think very big credit to Arsenal, but I thought that they looked.
But they're not in good form. Let's be clear, like they're in poor form.
Going in the next couple. Ancelotti's probably leaving at the end of the season or before that.
Get on to the manager, but they do look like they need a bit of a change.
Yeah.
Why did Valverde play in the second leg?
Valverde played in midfield in the second leg instead of Modric.
Did he?
Yeah. So because he played with the right. Yeah.
They looked awful in midfield against you guys.
Tony Kroos
was retired last season. Yeah, they looked awful. They were completely dominated. I mean, Thomas Partey is completely
I'm surprised he was allowed in the country, to be honest.
Well, this is a legal issue I'm not involved in, but he was phenomenal, and I think he deserves some plaudits. I also believe in talking about midfielders. Declan Rice versus Bellingham. Now, Declan Rice is a difference maker. He is an all-rounder. He's like a Freddie Flintoff. Like, this guy is in every part of the pitch and has an unlimited engine. He's like I actually am quite shocked by the levels Declan has got to. And that was proven by how much he dominated Bellingham. And, you know, I found that very interesting.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But as for Madrid, what do you think? Actually, I want to ask you what you think of Bellingham as a player. I mean, we saw some of his attitude in the Euros. I think he does think he's a bit big for his boots. You know, he walked into an incredible seam last season to win the Champions League.
He does. He does remind me a little of Dele Alli. I know he's.
He's 21 years of age, Bellingham, but an unbelievable footballer.
Well, he was completely dominated last night.
Dele Alli. I mean, there was a point where Dele Alli was also spoken about, like Bellingham is now.
No,
he was.
But I mean, Bellingham starts tucking the shirt in, you know, and you saw him tucking the shirt.
I think this is why he reminds me of Dele Alli a bit. I do worry that he's a little big for his boots at times.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Real looked better without Mbappe last year.
Yes, and look at what PSG have done since they got rid of him. They look much better.
I mean,
as well.
he's scored 33 goals this year, so he's clearly had a good season in terms of goals. But they're an old club. They've got Vinicius as well, who's has obviously not turned up to the Ballon d'Or awards.
Yes,
which is won by Rodri. There's
an attitude. Yes, I agree. That's an interesting point.
There's an attitude problem with that squad, and again we've seen a lot of good players from that squad. Like Kroos is retiring, Modric is probably going to leave. We've seen there is a turnover of that squad now, and any of the kind of remaining. You've still got Carvajal, but he's been injured for most of the year. Nacho left as well last year.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of players.
I thought he was a class player. Now I see him doing stuff at Villa.
They've got a lot of players with the wrong side of 30.
Yeah, interesting.
Not in their front four and actually in their midfield, but their back four, and they've lost. Carvajal is 33 or 34. Rudiger's 31. Alaba is probably 30 now or 31.
Yep.
Furlong Mendy's always been quite average. Courtois 33, I'm going to say, or something.
Yeah, I think he's still got some years in him, though, Courtois.
Courtois is a very good goalkeeper.
I know your point, yeah.
The squad is, I mean, they've got some great players, but I think they need a bit more. They probably need to, they'll probably have a new coach next year. I mean, Ancelotti's lasted 4 years at Real, which is kind of crazy given their turnover. They're like Chelsea, under Abramovich, the rate at which Real go through managers. So Ancelotti will leave and has been amazingly successful at Real. He's delivered 2 Champions Leagues, at least 2 La Ligas in that period, and has generally delivered a lot of, or at least, I think 2 La Ligas in that, and has generally been highly successful. But I think they need to probably drop one of these front four players next year and rebalance it and get an extra player in midfield. Because otherwise it's 4-2-4 almost, their team. And Arteta got his tactics bang on in the game. You were really good. I mean, Rice does score two
phenomenal
bangers.
goals, but also we had 2 goals cleared off the line. I thought we were utterly dominant.
You deserved to win the tie. The second leg was a bit closer and a bit messier, but you kind of expected that.
Yeah.
And the referee made some interesting calls. Arguably, Real should have had a penalty in the first half.
I thought that was outrageous penalty that you were awarded.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's a different look. PGML.
I've seen you as Arsenal. I've seen Arsenal defend like that.
No. As soon as you get rid of PGMOL and you have this European system,
been
much better referees, and Arsenal do well.
The thing which I didn't understand was that he was never getting the ball. It was going to the keeper. If he was going to get the ball, I might have thought about it.
No.
I thought it was a crazy decision. I do think as well, Mbappe. I think that the referee.
I thought we were lucky that if one gets given, the other one probably should be given.
Yes.
I'm pleased you can see that.
But actually, I think it was. I think the first one was more of a pull down. I mean, yeah. But can I just say as well, what? This guy was the referee in. Okay, to 1 point.
Mourinho makes a meal of it. Let's be clear.
I sense he's got his hands all over him, and you can see the shirts being pulled. But the other point is, the way Timber, who I think is one of the standout performers of the season, Jurrien Timber,
he was gone for half of it.
Completely bodied physically and tactically Vinny Jr. We didn't see anything of that guy. And I think that Timber is if you're not watching highlight reels of him or you're not watching Arsenal games to specifically keep an eye on Timber as he plays, we've got a phenomenal player.
There's a thing about physicality with Vinicius as well, because you remember Real when City beat Real 4 years ago and Kyle Walker was in kind of peak physique.
Yeah.
Then you absolutely pocketed Vinicius in that second game.
Yeah.
There does seem to be things you're very physical with Vinicius. He's less effective.
True. Yes.
You put him on really strong against him.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Timber's got pace as well, and so does Kyle Walker.
He's got everything. Yes.
So if you've got pace, you've got physicality against him. I think Rodrigo is very underrated in that team.
I think he's underrated, but I think the same thing because Miles Lewis-Skelly had him pocketed for both legs. Lewis Skelly
Kelly's a very good footballer. He's got some growth to go through, though.
He does because of his age, but I don't see it on the pitch. He looks as mature as anyone.
He's been 3 times this year, or at least twice.
Yeah, okay, fine. But if you watch him in those 2 legs, I mean, he didn't put a foot wrong, and he actually the way he, he's so confident in taking players on in the last line. He's actually a centre midfielder, but he's playing left back. But top player. He's already.
Talk about the next round, then. Whether Barney, do you think
PSG?
Challenge?
Before we go into PSG, why don't we reflect on the game, the quick tie with PSG v Villa?
Okay. So Prince Williams.
PSG. Prince William.
Who looked unbecoming. His behaviour in the celebrations.
What's his little one? George. Was he with George?
Yeah, but I must say, not fit for a king. Celebrating.
No, I think we love
represent the country. I think he should be.
Have you heard him talk about football? He's quite well.
Yeah, he was talking about them pressing. Did you hear him talking about the press?
Yes. Yeah, he's very good.
I think they really press well, and
I would. Over Jamie Redknapp.
In the 2 games, right? Villa first leg, Villa were well beaten. PSG were very dominant in the first leg, and second leg, I thought Villa, in particular in the second half, were outstanding, and I think probably should have gone through on the tie in the end. Both the goals they gave away as well were sloppy goals because Martinez makes an error on the first goal with Hakimi. They get caught out on the break on the second goal, and then they miss 3 golden chances. And I think a lot of people have talked about this tactic already. The big error was taking Rashford off around the 70th minute. Because Rashford had Marquinhos and Paco, the 2 centre-backs, on toast.
Yeah.
With that. And Rashford as well, despite possibly falling off in the last couple of years, has an amazing record against PSG at United.
Yeah.
Notoriously scared them and was we saw the old Rashford again in their second half. The assist for the Konza goal is brilliant play. Goes past Mendes and a couple of other players. Great pull back. Konza puts it in, and suddenly you think they're going to win the tie. And Villa Arsenal would have been a really interesting tie, particularly with Emre.
I actually really would not have liked that. For the same reason I would have rather had Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid. I'd rather have Real Madrid. I would not have liked Aston Villa, but yeah.
But I think it's, and I talked to you about this a bit offline, Mr. Taylor. I think your big question is, because I think the best footballing team at the moment in the competition are PSG with the way they play, like with their midfield three, Vitinha and Neves, Fabian Ruiz, and then they've got like Doué, Dembele, who's having the season of his life. He's got 30 plus goals or like 50 goal involvements or something crazy.
Yeah.
Doué looks an amazing player as well.
Doué looks really good.
Barcola,
off the bench.
Kvaratskhelia is just a.
Oh, I love that guy.
Like Western Asia or the Caucasus is the best player maybe the best player I've ever seen from that region.
Yeah.
Just in terms of how Kvaratskhelia plays, he's better than Fleb. I mean, he's
Gleb.
Alexander
Gleb, Champions League final, 2006 carried Arsenal to the final.
But I think that it will be. You guys have probably got the best defense in that competition.
Yeah.
But you're playing probably against the best attack in that competition.
I think who scores first will go through. Yeah. Your concern?
The other concern as well is they will press you very high, and minus Martinelli and Saka don't have a lot of pace in your team.
Yes, but we had this conversation before. You said that before the Madrid tie, and actually, Saka and Martinelli, they're elite wingers.
But the fullbacks for PSG are also elite. Hakimi and Mendes are unbelievably good fullbacks. So they could also.
That's a step up from the Madrid to
You had Ferland Mendy and or Fran Garcia and Valverde and
Alaba,
Lucas Vázquez there. So it's a huge step up on that for those guys, and also they will push your wingers back as well. It's going to be an amazing semi-final, I think.
This is the game I'm not most looking forward to, I have to say.
Yeah, I'm really fascinated with this, and we'll come to our predictions after this, surely. Let's just quickly pick up on. So we've covered the first semi-final. Second semi-final is Barcelona versus who is the other semi-final?
Inter.
Inter Milan only conceded 5 goals in this tournament so far.
Yeah.
I think Inter should have won. Yeah, they beat Bayern, but I think Inter should have won the Champions League 2 years ago when City won the treble. They were the better team that final.
Yes.
And arguably, Lukaku shouldn't have been brought on and they dominated that game. That's where United bought Onana from on that basis. And they're very good defensively. Into Barcelona, obviously, Hansi Flick's done a really good job there. They're top of La Liga. They've had very little. The only player they really bought was Dani Olmo. They've had crazy financial constraints for 3 or 4 years. They pull more levers than a bowling alley, but Barcelona seem to somehow still produce a great squad of players with that, or the barriers going up, I guess, in the bowling alley might be a better analogy. But Barcelona Inter, what are your thoughts on that as a tie, Mr. Taylor?
Oh, well, I think it's similarly set up to the Arsenal PSG. Barcelona, I watched them v Dortmund, particularly that first leg. They look amazing, and Lamine Yamal is the best player in the world right now. But as you say, Inter Milan defensively are unbelievable.
Bastoni. Their goalkeeper as well, by the way, Jan Sommer, who's 37. He's incredible.
Jan Sommer has God. Every time I see him in the Euros or something, he always looks like one of the best keepers in the world.
I'm amazed someone like United didn't go for him. They probably could have picked him up for 10 million quid. He's just so good with his feet. He's a complete goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good tie that.
I know. I kind of slept on Inter Milan in terms of their squad. I mean, players like Çalhanoğlu. Çalhanoğlu is a top. He scored against us in the group.
It's a replay of the semi-final of one of my favourite games ever.
Oh yeah.
What was it? 2009.
Yeah, in Mourinho. Yes, Mourinho v Pep.
Yeah,
Mourinho
no,
Pep,
2010
PK
semi-final.
2010.
Was that the game where PK scored that like?
It was
Yes,
a
the
game where Inter
Thiago
went down to 10 men, and it was back to the
I
wall.
remember watching that. Yeah, with yeah.
Mourinho got the knee slide at the that was prime Mourinho.
I might get that up as you talk about it. I'll get that. Yeah.
That was an unbelievable tie.
Let's do. Lautaro, by the way, is playing unbelievably. I think he's a very underrated forward. And speaking to our Italian correspondent Fabio Gallini, he's a real he raves a lot about Lautaro Martinez as a player and speaks about. He's a Bologna fan, but watches a lot of Italian football and speaks about how important Lautaro is and how good he plays a bit like Aguero with his centre of gravity. Lautaro and how good. So I think it's been a very good tie. The question for Barcelona, I watched that Barcelona line. I didn't watch the first leg. I watched parts of the second leg. Their defensive line is so high.
Yeah.
Against Dortmund, they were back. I mean, it was like kamikaze football at times.
But interesting. The last couple of games for Barca, they've conceded quite a few goals. I mean, they conceded 3 goals in that Dortmund second leg.
Yeah, one player that should be called out is Guirassy as well as the top scorer in the Champions League. He was picked up for 17 million by Dortmund from Stuttgart.
Yeah.
He's been a real turnout player in the last 2 years. And United were linked with him a year ago. He's been a really good find.
Yeah.
He's about 28 or something. He's a real goal predator there. Kind of similar to sort of Sebastian Haller or someone like these later developers. In the team. But anyway, let's go to our predictions and then we'll take a quick break and we'll go into our final parts of the show.
Yeah.
Dr. Pemberson, what's your predictions for? We're going to start with Inter Barcelona first. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to go Barcelona 2-1 over 2 legs.
You're very low, your predictions on goals, guys, on your... I think we have a lot more goals.
Semi-final. To be honest, actually, no, maybe there'll be more. Semi-finals have actually always been more enjoyable than the final.
Yeah.
Historically. So, okay. I'm still going Barcelona, but maybe I'm going to go 3-2. You've changed my mind.
I'm going to go Inter Milan to win the semi-final. I think Inter Milan will win the semi-final.
As you talk, I don't know if you can see that, but as you're saying that, Inter Milan winning, here Mourinho is celebrating on screen, yeah.
I can't see it, I'm afraid.
Oh, can you not? That's unfortunate. It will be able to be seen for the public.
If I click watch stream, you can see it, perhaps. Yes, we can. I can see that now. The famous sprint across the stadium. This is iconic. This is Mourinho at his peak.
This reminds me of our CEO managing.
Yeah, it does.
Managing the old.
In our football.
The old school 11, yeah.
Yeah.
Tactical genius.
I think you subbed me off after
remember-
20 minutes for someone who probably played 10 minutes of football in this third team.
Giving the ref also an equally difficult time.
That couldn't surely be me.
Keeping them honest.
Yeah.
Keeping his players
Jordan
honest.
if you watch this live on the podcast, Mourinho, they're being
Here we go.
held by
This is it.
Victor Valdez. and why significantly? What was the link with Mourinho to Barcelona? Do any of you know?
What do you mean, what's the link?
Mourinho in Barcelona. Well, he used to work at. That's where he started his career, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes, he was Pep's wingman.
No,
he
not
was
correct.
Cruyff's.
Nope, Bobby Robson.
Bobby Robson.
What?
Mourinho was.
Bobby Robson when he managed Barcelona.
Manager for Barcelona.
Yes, man.
I thought he had a personal history with Pep.
So Mourinho worked as Robson's interpreter and assistant coach at Sporting Porto and then Barcelona. And this was arguably viewed as the key formative experience for Mourinho's coaching career. So that's why it was so iconic. And also the other reason is, in 2008, before Guardiola got the job, Mourinho took a famous presentation to Barcelona around what he would do with their team, and they chose Pep Guardiola over Mourinho. And that's the big reason I'm not.
And then he went to Madrid. And then he went to Madrid.
He did, and then he broke the Guardiola dynasty in 2012, winning the league there. And that's the final year of Guardiola. Anyway, shall we move on to?
But look at exactly. Here's another semi-final highlight a moment.
So I my prediction yet on Inter Milan very quickly.
Yes, give us.
You gave it. Well, Inter win. Okay, what's the score?
I'm going Inter Inzalia Milano.
Yep.
4-1 on aggregate.
4-1. I mean, you like your controversial, prediction.
4-1 to Inter.
Borrow glimpse, you're also going for 4-1 Barcelona loss.
Champions League this year.
Oh.
They don't call me Mr. Controversial or the CEO for no reason. Anyway, and Mr. Taylor, what about Barcelona versus FC Barcelona versus Inter?
And then who would you like to win? So after your prediction, who would you rather?
Personally, I think Arsenal do better against more attacking teams. So I would like to see Barcelona into the final repeat of 2006.
And what's your score prediction?
Who's at home first? Who is at home first, please?
Yeah, I'm just going to go to my Italian correspondent quickly and find out. 1 second, please.
Thank you. It's a huge moment.
Barcelona are first. Thank you, Fabio, for that.
Not Fabrizio.
No, Fabio is a friend of mine from Bologna, who is a.
The thing with Inter is you're right. They have Lautaro who can, gives them something. But I would say that Barcelona.
They're also very good with Thuram up front. Thuram and Lautaro. Very good.
Thuram, phenomenal physically. Yeah, I would say. If Inter go into the second leg and it's 1-0 or less,
we're not interested in hearsay. We're interested in predictions.
I think Barcelona are going to at least score 2 in the first leg. I think it'll be. I actually think it'll be 2-2 penalties. Inter win on penalties.
Oh, wow.
Inter win on penalties. 2-2. 2-2.
Some predictions, both of you. Okay.
I'm
Let's do the Arsenal one then. Go on then. Let's get this over with. Arsenal PSG.
We're going to make Mr. Taylor go last on this. Dr. Pemberton, you first on Arsenal versus Paris Saint-Germain.
I do think PSG will win this. I think they'll be too dominant. And I think they can work hard enough against an equally hard-working team.
Scoreline?
And I do think there'll be few goals here. I'm going to go 1-0 PSG over 2 legs.
Over 2 games?
1-0, yeah.
Let's see.
You are a boring correspondent. You're kind of in there.
I go for the realistic scorelines. I don't just pick, the underdog.
Jeff
ridiculous numbers.
What
did you say? 4-1. I've got that in my head.
For Arsenal,
my prediction is no. I'm going to do PSG Arsenal. It's this is hard. Who's home in that first game?
Oh, here we go. I want to hear
Arsenal are home first. Arsenal are home first.
That's not good news.
And also Partey is out because of a yellow card.
Partey's irrelevant, so I'm not worried about that.
Actually, a big loss.
Come on.
Against
Arteta is a game management master.
I think you're going to the final. It's my prediction. I think you're going to lose in the final. You're going to lose in the final again. And it's going to give me, and we are going to watch that film live on this podcast. We're going to do a live Europa League final on this podcast.
Yeah.
And a live Champions League filming.
And I borrow glimpse.
Bodo Glint versus Atletico Bilbao. We'll be watching that live.
Jesus.
We won't. If it doesn't have some English correspondence or an all English.
Okay, then are we doing the final then? Who do you think will win the competition?
I'm going to do Arsenal will win 4-3 overall.
In the final?
No. Getting to the final against.
Oh.
On aggregate.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then I think you'll lose to Inter Milan. And I hope it's on penalties. That would give me so much.
I can't even
Man
think
United
about
win the Europa League, beating Spurs, and then we've got a better season.
Okay, yeah, should we talk about... I want to bring this up briefly. I want to say, if that happens, and I want Mr. Taylor to come in on this. One of our teams...
Man United or Spurs have had a better season than Arsenal if we win.
Absolutely not.
That is the question.
So you're saying...
Anyway...
We are 30 points above Man United and Tottenham.
0 trophies.
Will
0 trophies.
30 points. It's like a league team. It's like a league
versus
difference.
European
It's
silverware.
like dropping
I
down
know
to
who
the
I would-
championship. So we got to the semi-final of the Champions League, knocking out 15 times winners. Yeah, in incredible circumstances with our finances. So we couldn't get a striker.
Spending 100 million on a midfielder is not incredible finances.
That was 2 years ago. And actually, we probably should be. I think looking at him now, you could probably pay 150. Are you joking me? Declan Rice is easily the best England player.
I mean, I could get James Ward-Prowse to score those free kicks.
No, not just to have free kicks. Not just the free kicks. He's like England's best player. England's best player.
I agree with that. I agree. I echo that laughter from the CEO.
Well,
I would ask it also, would you rather a trophy and
Let's do Declan Rice, bruv.
Declan Rice.
17 goal involvement. Bruno Fernandes has 35.
He's a like a hybrid number 6, number 8. I mean,
He's an attacking midfielder, Declan Rice now.
he's very good, but he's not. I don't think he's going to win the Ballon d'Or just yet.
no, I didn't say he was the best player in the world. I was saying he's the best English player. I think he's most.
I would say Kane is the better season still.
Bottle job Kane, who's
But-
never. I mean, once again,
He's going to win the league title. And
he might not. He might not.
boring.
Company is a
Bad.
dodgy manager.
So, Mr. Taylor, what's your prediction for Arsenal PSG on aggregate? And
I
I'm going
think-
to take an advert.
I think Arsenal score. If Arsenal score first, we win the game. If Arsenal score first in the final, we win the game.
Aggregate prediction. Finals.
I think it's going to be a real close one, actually. 2-1 Arsenal over 2 legs. I think it'll be a 1-0 at the Emirates and 1-1 in Paris.
I think PSG will score in both ties. They've scored so many goals this year.
Yeah.
And they're so attacking under Lucas, not under Enrique, that Luis Enrique. So anyway,
but hang on, I know. Can I say we played them in the group stage and beat them 2-0.
it's irrelevant. That game in October is irrelevant to where they are now. Like
The only
They won-
difference, they look a lot
7
better. Yeah.
they've won 17 of the last 18 away games. Their only defeats come against AC Milan. Like they are the best team in Europe at the moment with their players, and this is a step up.
They
from
could
Real.
go.
It's
They
gonna be-
could go invincible, couldn't they, this season?
Yeah, they could in. I mean, in the Farmers League of Ligue 1, that's not such an achievement. But
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we're going to take a quick advert break, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Hello and welcome back to part 3 of the Knock It Long podcast. We're going to play a game instead of talking about the rest of the leagues. We thought we'd do something slightly different, and we'll do some reflections in a couple of weeks' time as the league draws closer, and we probably have the Premier League title winners there, and probably the full relegation 3. So we'll do that then. And we're going to play a game. So, Dr. Pemberton, over to you to explain the rules of the game.
This is a game. It's a lot like noughts and crosses. You want to try and get three together, and you've got to find a common player between each of the two clubs. So, for example, you want a common player between Real Madrid and England, and you'd come up with some player, and each player's going to take a turn and try and get 3 in a row. And I will be the
Who do you wanna
mediator here.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a strict 30 seconds per player because we've tried in the past and
Someone on this side. Yeah.
some people take time. And we're going to have Mr. Taylor go first. We'll restart it because I think that
Okay.
you guys are thinking about it right now.
Okay, agreed. Ready?
And yeah, you have 30 seconds start from now.
Mourinho and Brazil. I'm gonna go straight in and say. Actually, I don't know if he played under him, but I was gonna say Ramirez or Oscar. I'm gonna start very, very safe with Ronaldinho.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Tom.
It's just me, Mourinho and Arsenal, David Luiz. No. Yeah, that's I.
Do
Yeah,
you want me to go for it?
You confirmed that, yeah.
Okay.
I'll try and block you off there. That's yes, yeah.
Wrong.
Wrong.
No,
Okay.
I originally said Mourinho.
Oh,
but
sorry.
I said,
My fault.
Oh yeah. Okay, he did say.
I
that.
Sorry,
did
I
say
should
that.
I don't.
There you go.
Okay.
Right, next one.
Arsenal, Barcelona, Chleb.
Man City and Barcelona. I could name you Tiki Bergenstein, but that's. Are we allowed board members?
No.
Just play.
Players.
Yeah, thank you.
Actually harder than that.
20
Yaya
seconds.
Toure.
Oh,
Yaya Toure.
it's a good one. No, it's just automatically done that. Forget that.
So,
So wait, but you haven't started the timer yet, have you?
Barney.
Finn?
Okay, well, just to confirm, so Barney has Ronaldinho and Cleb, and Mr. Walsh, Tom has Louise and Torre. Time has started.
Okay. Borussia Dortmund and Man City. Hang on, can you win on the next one? Gundogan
15 seconds.
gives me some options.
Man City and Mourinho.
Yep.
Fudge. Relax, breathe. Let's do some Wim Hof.
20 seconds. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
Oh, that's big. That's quite a big moment. That's a huge moment in the time.
The rule should be you can't go for the same one that the person that missed it was thinking about.
No,
to make it
that's
more
not.
challenging.
That's not the
I
rule.
think that's the rule. That's
Joe, do you agree that's not the rule?
That's not a rule, and I've started the timer.
Okay. Right. Dortmund and Brazil. Dortmund and Brazil.
15 seconds.
15 seconds already. Dortmund and Brazil. Okay, I'm going to have to pull out of that. I'm going to have to go Lucio for Mourinho and Brazil.
So, Barney, you've got Ronaldinho as well, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, well done.
So, Tom, you need to stop him with Dortmund and Brazil there.
That's really difficult.
Fuck, that's not easy.
20 seconds gone. 21,
They
22.
had centre back Felipe Santana, who played in the Champions League final in 2013.
Dortmund and Brazil.
Yeah, he's a Brazilian centre back. He played there against.
Oh, well done, well done.
That's-
Okay.
That was hard. That's
on.
not the.
Is this now a
They
draw?
also had
God, I don't know. I'm kind of.
It's a draw.
Is it a draw?
But
But
should-
do you want to do them anyway?
Yeah, okay. Dortmund and Arsenal would be. Well, I want to try and get the harder one. I can do the Dortmund Arsenal one. There's a couple there. Mourinho and Man City.
That's going to.
I know. Lampard.
Just say, well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Who else actually? What would be else? I look it up on ChatGPT. What else would be Mourinho and Man City?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
That was because that was.
Oh.
Hello, and for the final one tonight, well, actually, well, it won't be the final one. We'll do also Mr. Taylor versus Dr. Pemberton as well. It's going to be myself, the doctor in this one, and I'm going to go first on this one.
Okay,
So,
let me restart first.
yeah, that's fine. Okay. So, goodness me, Manchester United, Chelsea, and Guardiola. Raheem Sterling.
Manchester United and Guardiola.
No, I said Chelsea and Guardiola.
Chelsea and
Raheem Sterling.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Bottom right.
sorry.
30 seconds starts, Dr. Pemberton. Please start counting.
Oh yeah, I'll do it.
Oh, what's his bloody name? Chelsea. I'll go Chelsea and.
15 seconds.
Oh, I just can't remember his name.
5 seconds.
Anthony and Manchester. Sorry, Brazil and Manchester United. Anthony.
You had just got it. Well, okay, nice one.
It's quite hard.
Yeah.
I mean, Chelsea in Brazil is so blimmin' easy. I mean, I could have had my feet
I couldn't
up.
remember the guy's name.
Silva, Ramirez. I mean,
Yes, I was going to say Ramirez.
you
Yeah,
missed him, didn't you?
Brazil.
So I'm going to go Thiago Silva, Chelsea, Brazil.
Thiago Silva, Chelsea, Brazil.
Yes. I mean, you had about 5 there. You could have gone Oscar. I mean, you could have. It
Got
was so easy.
Let me think, okay?
You let your Diego Costa. I mean, you let your
Let
family
me
down
think.
there.
Thank you.
Chelsea, Newcastle. We had it earlier as well.
Really hard. Newcastle, Man United. I feel like there must be loads there, but just can't think of any of them.
15 seconds.
Oh my god, it's awful.
Or shall I remove the timer?
No,
yes.
time is on. No.
5
Can't
seconds.
make it up mid.
Oh, did it pay? Okay, I'm just gonna guess this. No, I'm not going to. Pep and Manchester United.
Pep and Manchester United.
Okay.
Skip your go.
Time's up.
Time's up. Player 1.
Was
Fine, I've already won. Thank you very much. Lewis Hall, Chelsea, Newcastle.
Fair play. Fair play.
by Leverkusen. I mean, come on.
Okay.
Right, is that it?
You
Would we
got Pep
predict the
and
rest?
Man United.
I can get that last.
Pep and Man United.
Let's try and work this out, the rest of them. Let's go through this as a group.
Okay.
Pep, Man United. Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Oh, yeah, good one. Yep.
Man United, Newcastle. Gabriel Obertan.
Oh, that's a great one.
God's sake.
That's
I'm
a-
not getting. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I get this whole
Brazil.
top row.
Leverkusen v
Costa.
Pep is
Douglas
hard.
Costa.
No, that's right.
No, Brazil is
Leverkusen.
who's the Aston Villa right winger right now? Oh no, he's Jamaican.
Yeah. Leon Bailey.
Yeah.
Leverkusen, Newcastle.
I think I think it's Douglas Costa. I'm going to go for it.
Okay.
Oh no, it's wrong. My apologies.
I'm sorry. Guys.
Lucio.
Did he play for Bayern Leverkusen?
Yeah, he did. He lost in the 2002.
Fair play.
Leverkusen, Newcastle. Feels like someone recently linked to that squad.
It's not.
Leverkusen Guardiola will be easier. Pass. I don't know on the remaining 2.
No, I don't know either. Pep and Bayer. Who?
Can you get the? Can it give you the answers on the final 2?
No, I don't think it does.
All right. Well, let's. We're going to move to our final game then. I won that against Dr. Pemberton.
Okay, we drew in the first game.
So, Dr. Pemberton, you're like Italy in the rugby, taking the wooden spoon, or Wales took the wooden spoon in the last game.
Well, let's see. Let's see.
Thank you for that.
To avoid the wooden spoon, which you've had a few times in the last few weeks.
Yep.
Let's kick this off between Mr. Taylor and Dr. Pemberton.
Okay, ready to go.
This was a very hard one. I would like to say that objectively. That was much harder
I like
than what you
thing. This is a bit like Dr. Pemberton looks like he's playing a match of chess at the moment. The way he's
Okay.
Let's just get into it.
Should we go for this one?
Anyway,
You go first.
Dr. Pemberton goes first. I'm going to start the timer in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, I want to get one that Barney wouldn't. I've got to leave that Spurs column. No.
Oh yeah.
5 seconds.
Oh, you got a bloody Spurs column.
Um.
You got a Spurs.
10 seconds gone.
Oh, Spurs and Liverpool. Robbie Keane.
Whoa. Keno.
Correct. Right. Right, Mr. Taylor, 30 seconds starts now.
Okay. I think I'm gonna have to take straight out Ndombele. France and Spurs.
Okay,
You
Pep
missed
and
the-
Mourinho.
I got mentioned
Pep and
earlier.
Mourinho. Frank Lampard.
Pep, Mourinho, Lampard.
Guys have both missed an easy one.
Ooh, Atletico in France. Oh, Griezmann. Is that how you spell it? Yeah.
Oh.
Right, Doc Pemberson,
Um.
go. 5 seconds.
Oh, what was his bloody the left back who?
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking of the
Was
same
it
guy.
was for Pep? This is really annoying me. Pep and Liverpool Sterling. I'll just say Sterling again. Pep and
Pep and Liverpool Sterling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, sir. Well, I've got someone here. I think, but I don't know if he
Oh
counts.
shit! I wasn't thinking. Oh yeah.
Mendy.
Oh, that's it. Benjamin Mendy.
Benjamin Mendy. He's taken.
That is so
He's
annoying.
taken.
There must be other French players.
The North London derby. Another victory
Can
for.
you some really easy players in this, though?
No. Okay.
Like
well,
I mean, there was
Liverpool
Mourinho and some
Right.
players.
Liverpool Athletic.
I'll take you on for the
Liverpool
final then. Final.
Liverpool
Okay,
Atletico,
so do
who's
the
that?
final then.
Okay, here's the final, Tom. Ready? Okay,
Wait,
mediate.
Who's going first? So,
Guys, before we do that, let's close out the final three.
well, Spurs and Mourinho.
Liverpool-
Obviously, is any bloody player from
Yeah.
20.
Liverpool
No.
Atletico, Fernando Torres.
Yes. Or Suarez.
There.
Should we fill it in
Yes.
then? Is that what
No.
we're asking?
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Mourinho Atletico. Should Mourinho Atletico? Who would that be? That should be easy.
Carvalho.
Yeah.
No, actually, I don't think
No.
he played for Atletico Madrid.
Diego Costa.
Ah, yes.
Mm,
Costa. No,
And then, oh,
that's
he
must.
was there, wasn't he?
He definitely was there. Yeah.
Oh,
that was weird.
God, no. Yeah, I was going to say swivel on it.
And then we got
Ryan Mason.
Managed us. You could just say Bale.
Yeah, Bale,
And
yeah.
Dembele.
Okay, final. Here we go. Ready?
Okay, you ready? Who's going first? So we
Tom
don't
first
have
or
any-
second?
Barney can go first.
Okay. Ready, sir?
Barney's first.
Joe,
Yeah.
happy to go?
Go.
Okay. Chelsea by Leverkusen Havertz.
Good. It's quite an emotional game. I'm going to go right down the middle. Raheem Sterling, Liverpool, Man City.
Right. Chelsea, Man City. He's come up a couple times. Lampard.
Okay. Chelsea, Juventus, Morata.
Chelsea, Juventus, Morata. Leverkusen versus PSG.
That's hard.
That's very difficult. That's very, very difficult indeed.
"20 seconds.
Oh God, I'm stuck here.
30 seconds.
Oh my. Okay, Tom, you're go.
Tom.
I can win this already. I'm going to do it because I'm ruthless. You have the Nordi Mukulele who plays as a right back.
For who?
Paris Saint-Germain and Leverkusen.
Paris Saint-Germain. What? You're looking at your phone there.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
was there some phone use? I was looking. I couldn't spot
Wrong.
any phone use.
Wrong.
It's not. Mukulele is spelled M-U-K-I-E. M-U-K-I-E-L-E.
Like that. Happy?
Yes.
Bloody hell.
Oh, well done.
Phone use.
No,
Should we
phone
finish
name
it
was
off?
not you.
Ah, here we go.
Hang
Hang on. Sorry, I've got Xabi Alonso for Bayer Leverkusen.
on, no, that was your go. You just took my go as your go.
Did I?
Because I won. Yeah.
No, we know that's your purple, so well done, Toffle winning. Should we finish that off anyway?
start anyway. I'm kind of up for a fresh game anyway. This is great. Great test.
Well, listen-
Okay, I go first though on that basis.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Russell. Man City, Tottenham, Kyle Walker.
Joe, you go.
Man's
Shit, I'm lost.
hold
This
on.
is hard actually.
Man City, Spain, David Silva.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tom?
PSG, Spain, Fabian Ruiz.
Keep bringing up the same player, but
Which colour are we?
we're purple.
You're
Purple.
We've got Lampard again on that.
Yeah, Lampard again. Yeah, should we go for Lampard again then?
It's a one-trick pony, but
Spain and Borussia Guaro. He's Mexican.
we're
Okay.
blocking off him. And well,
So should we go for him then? Lampard?
unless you have any others you want to do.
No, I can't see any others. Mourinho, Dortmund. I think we should take away the. I don't think we should have a timer.
Yeah, we're verging on.
This is
that.
actually it's not an easy round. This.
Let's not have a timer but let's go. Okay, Joe, have you got any others other than Lampard? here?
Wow, we've said it now.
I have got.
I think Lampard's fine. This is not an easy round.
Where did Son come from? Was he from Dortmund? Was he
Hamburg.
Leverkusen?
Was it Hamburg?
David Kusen.
Oh, it was Leverkusen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tottenham, PSG. Come on, I feel like.
Why don't we just do this all together?
No. We're against you. We're trying to beat you, CEO. Okay, we're going Lampard then. We'll go Lampard.
I have another one I was thinking of, but I'll bring it up in a second.
Okay.
PSG and Mourinho. Claude Makelele?
What would be the connection from Mourinho?
Mourinho. I don't know whether Makelele played for PSG before Real or after. I think he played for them a year towards the end.
Should I go
He
for
played
it
for
or
Chelsea.
not? Go for it or not?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow, well done. Okay, we need a Tottenham PSG. There is a Tottenham PSG connection.
Yeah, well, Tottenham, PSG. I was hoping it wasn't going to come to this.
It's not in Ndombele, is it?
Oh! No, Ndombele went back to France, but he didn't play for PSG, did he? I think he went back to Lyon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, I know who it is. It's Lucas.
Lucas Moura,
Lucas
yes.
Moura.
Lucas Moura, yeah.
Oh, very good. I wouldn't have got that.
Okay, we got a chance to win this.
Yes. Dortmund in Spain.
Get your brain racking back to that 2013 team.
Dortmund in Spain. There's no timer, so take your time, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to take my time then, actually. I thought I had a 30.
I was thinking, would Di Maria be Paris Saint-Germain and Mourinho?
Yes, that's a great shout. Yeah.
Yeah.
He would be. He definitely would be. That's a
Sorry,
great
this
shout.
might take a minute.
Dortmund and Spain.
I just keep thinking of German defenders.
For who are you looking for? Dortmund and Spain?
Yeah. Well, that blocks you from winning, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, but I can't get it. That's really
I
difficult.
don't have a way to win.
I bet it's someone incredibly, niche.
I mean, for the sake of the game.
Was it 2013? They got to the semi. They got to the final. The Champions League.
Final.
They
But I
beat
don't
Monaco.
think there was a Spanish. Oh, actually, no, he's German. Nuri Sahin.
They had some. Let me just go through their team. They had Weidenfeller in goal. They had Piszczek and Blaszczykowski, who are both Polish. Lewandowski up front.
Yeah.
They had Gundogan in midfield, Sahin, and there was another guy in there. I don't know on the Dortmund one. Dortmund, Mourinho.
I did. Well, I don't actually know. Did Toni Kroos play for Dortmund?
No.
No.
I was gonna say Mario Götze for a second, but he's German. Mario Götze did not play for Mourinho. Mourinho in Dortmund's not easy either.
Yeah.
Can't think of Tottenham and Dortmund.
I'm gonna skip, guys, over to you, generally, for the sake of this. It'll be all nice.
Skip. Player 2. Okay.
I just can't think of Tottenham and Dortmund.
Yeah, Tottenham and Dortmund.
We call this a draw. I generally don't know they're in there. Dortmund, Tottenham as
Oh, we
well.
could win it though with Bayern, and I just realised, okay, Bayern in
Yeah.
Spain.
Yeah.
But
It's just
or Bayern
impossible.
Uh-huh.
Dortmund in Spain.
I'm going to Google this on ChatGPT. honestly,
Okay,
for
you do it.
Dortmund.
You do it and say if it's possible to get. Tell us if it's possible to get.
Do you know, just before I was Googling that, I was thinking Alvaro Morata, but he didn't play for them. Because he's played all over.
I think it's someone.
It is gettable, but it's very difficult.
Who else has this guy played for?
Barcelona,
Which year?
probably talking mid-2010s.
Really? Mid 2010s. Where? Midfield?
Actually, I mean, should I just tell you one here that will make you laugh?
Okay, go on then.
Mikel Moreno.
You're joking.
Mikel Moreno played 8 games for Dortmund.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Well, there you
That's
go.
very hard.
There you go.
Right, we're going to wrap the podcast up there, and we're probably going to play another game of this offline. But
Yeah.
thank you very much for listening to the Knock It Long podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Slightly different episode to normal, and happy Easter as well, because we're recording this on Easter Sunday. And we'll be back in May as we know the outcomes of the Champions League semi-final. FA Cup will also be in at that point, and the Premier League will be reaching its conclusion with the Champions League places and the Europa League. Thank you for joining. Goodbye.